Freaking out, man.
You can't handle the truth. You can't handle the truth.
What do all men with power want? More power.
My name is Gianluca Zanna. I was an Italian by birth, and I became an American by choice. Our lives and freedoms are in danger. This is not a drill. If you're listening to this broadcasting, you are the resistance.
All systems go.
Welcome to Love, Guns, and Freedom. Here we go, guys and girls. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with Luca Zanna on K-Talks 1340 AM and on United States.FM network. Another Sunday, another show. I must tell you, many times, must confess, many times the last almost 3 years. I mean, you realize that in almost 2 weeks, I've been on the air for 3 years. Unbelievable. I don't believe it myself. But as I said, I took this as an opportunity to do my little duty. My duty to share the truth, or at least what I think is the truth. Sometimes I get wrong, don't get me wrong. I'm not perfect, but in good honesty, every time I bring you facts, I have no allegiance to anybody. But the truth, that's the point. I have no allegiance to party. I have no allegiance to men or women. My only allegiance is to the principles that we have expressed, or at least our founding fathers expressed in the Declaration of Independence, in our Bill of Rights. In our Constitution, even if it wasn't perfect, it's still the best document we have. And I can tell you that because I've been around the world and coming from Europe, I tell you, the United States Constitution, even if it's not perfect, it is something that nobody else really has. So it's up to us, though, as human beings, as Americans, to make it better, to work the imperfections. And how can we do that? Just some time to stand up. You don't need to be famous. You don't need to have a microphone. You don't need to have to be an actor or to be a president, to be anything. All you need to do is to do your job and listen to your consciousness and listen to your heart. And then when you know it's time to speak up, to denounce evil, that's, I think, the most important thing we should all do and we can do. And sometimes it can happen any moment of our life. Anywhere you are, doesn't matter if you're in America, if you're in Arizona, if you're in Texas, or if you are in New England, or if you are on Mars. Wherever you are, when you see something that is evil, if you are silent, you will be part of that evil. So that's why I really like when people contact me on my show, and I feel very humble. This is a humble local radio show, 1340 AM, broadcasting out of Needles, the middle of nowhere. Yes, of course, it reaches also part of the tri-state, Mojave County, where I am. I am in Arizona, thank God. I don't live in Needles, but in California. But still, internet now is propagating this message bigger than I thought. The show is bigger than the radio. I really believe now. It's, I've been contacted, like today, for example, I will talk to him in a few seconds, by a gentleman that is completely another part of the States, okay? We're talking about Louisiana. Never been there. I would like to be there one time. And he just listened to one of my shows through probably YouTube, I guess, and he has something to say. And this is the experience. Of course, I'm trying to corroborate facts. I try to find information. By the end of the day, of course, I always want to give the opportunity for you to speak if you have something to say, and the other side that normally we will bring in to have the chance to face the accusations, or even just to try to, who knows, defend themselves. This is not, of course, a court. This is probably a court of opinion. But more important, this is not even about judging. This is about showing that how every one of us can perform their duty. And as I said, the most important thing is when you see evil, open your mouth, denounce it. Don't be silent. Don't be afraid. Sometimes I understand there are consequences. There is always a consequence for everything. But guess what? I think the worst consequence would be when at the end of your life, we're all going to have that moment, I guess, if you have a chance to, of course, to realize it is the end of your life. You will look back at your years. They went very fast, by the way. You can realize how life goes fast. But you also will have that regret at the end when you know that your time is coming. I wish I said that thing. I wish I did that thing. I wish I wasn't a coward. I wish I would stand up as a free man. That's the worst thing. I never want to go to that point. I don't want to have that regret. That's why I'm here. And that's why I want to bring people like Tareff from Louisiana, New Orleans, exactly, that has a very interesting story. Then maybe some of you may say, well, really, I don't care. I'm not into the VA or whatever. No, this is not about anything specifically. This is about when something evil is happening, I think you should, I don't want to say you must, you should look at yourself and start to decide if you want to speak up or not. Okay, Tareff from New Orleans, Louisiana, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you again. And please, first of all, introduce yourself. Who are you exactly?
Okay. I live right now in New Orleans, Louisiana, born and raised. I was a Katrina evacuee. I moved to Houston after Katrina. I spent 9 years altogether in Houston. And while I was in Houston, I got my associate's degree, and I worked for different companies, such as FMC, which is Farm Mechanical Chemical. We built Earl petroleum valves and subsea valves, right, which we call Christmas trees.
Wow.
Blowout preventers and things of that nature. I don't know if y'all remember back in 2010, you had a failure in the Gulf when you had the BP spillage.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The thing that broke, the machinery that broke was a blowout preventer. We built things like that.
Wow.
You know, and yeah, the blowout preventer, what it is an emergency valve where as the earth is pushing the petroleum through the line to the top, we can go to the umbilical cords, to the ships, right? If it's too much pressure, the blowout preventer crushes the pipe.
Wow.
So what happened with the BP spill, the blowout preventer didn't activate. And that's why you got the spillage. So I worked on stuff like that. And the Christmas trees that you stack on top of it, we call it Christmas trees, but Christmas tree is a big old veil thing, and it got different parts to it. And what it does, as the petroleum coming up from Mother Earth, it hits it with, from what I was told, it hits it with a stream of water, and it try to separate as much mud from the petroleum as possible before it reached the umbilical cords that goes to on land or to the ships.
Interesting.
Okay. Before then, 2003, 2002, 2003. Well, let me go to 1997. 1997 to 2003, I worked. I served 6 years in the National Guard, part-time.
That was the Louisiana National Guard?
The Louisiana National Guard Aviation Unit.
Okay.
First 244 Aviation Unit. So I served from 97 to 2003. When in between that time when 9/11 happened, we went on duty. So I served about 18 months on duty. Being a gate guard and also helping people with the helicopters, because that was my original trade. I was an aircraft structural repairman. At the time, it was a 6-bay Golf.
Where did you get deployed?
Mm-hmm.
Where did you get deployed? On U.S. soil, overseas?
On U.S. soil.
Okay.
Now
the National Guard, the last after 9/11 is pretty much being used overseas to control the borders of Iraq or some things like that. You know that. I mean, many National Guards, they used to be mostly for national. Now they've been deployed also everywhere around the world. I'm sure you're aware of that, right?
Yes. I'm serious. Yep, I am. Matter of fact, when I got out back in 2003, October 26 of 2003, it was a rumor going around that my unit was going to be activated. Right? So me and my other guys who I know, we ETS. The ETS 2 months before me. In the ETS in October, they had one particular... Huh?
I didn't say anything. Did you hear a sound? Was it a sound?
Oh, Yeah, that's my phone.
Yeah, wasn't me. You got
Oh, I'm sorry.
you have a very interesting background, Tareff. I mean, this is, can I ask you, how old are you? I mean, you're not a kid. I mean, you're a grown-up man. How old are you?
I'm 39.
Wow, you sound, by the way, by the things you've done, you even sound like older than that. You know what I mean? Interesting. No, seriously, interesting experience. And I have a question because you live far away from my area where normally I broadcast. How did you find out about the Love, Guns, and Freedom radio show? I'm always curious, and I don't want to assume.
Okay. One thing about me, I see myself as a moderate person. I look at it from the left point of view and the right point of view. I'm an independent, so I try to stay focused and balanced.
Yes.
I give everybody a chance to speak. I give everybody a chance. I don't care if people saying, "Oh, you shouldn't listen to this person because this person's full of hate, this and that other." It doesn't. I'm gonna listen to that person. It doesn't mean I'm gonna agree with that person, but I want to at least have a chance to listen to what that person has to say. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I agree. I'm like you. I have no party allegiances, and of course, at times, I really realize that we have to listen to everybody, even from people that normally we don't agree, because you never know. You may learn something, or we may learn from each other. That's the idea. But please continue.
Thank you. So, about the situation what I've been going through, I came across some NSA people online that was talking about them being harassed and whatnot, and former military people also. So I came across Karen Stewart, and she was on your show.
Yes.
And she was talking about some things about what happened to her on the job, and also in the civilian world. I said, man, that's some of the stuff that was happening to me.
Interesting.
You know how they was turning people against her and everything. That's the same thing going on with me. You know. I had a chance to speak to her over the weekend, and we spoke about close to an hour.
Wow.
Yeah, and she's very intelligent. I mean, she was telling me, be careful with this, be careful with that, and I was basically, agreeing with her because it's very treacherous out here.
Let's remind 1 second, Tareff. Let's remind everybody exactly what Mrs. Stewart had to go through before even we go to the targeted individual parts. She used to work for the NSA, and she became like a whistleblower. Try to, expose things that were wrong on the job, okay? And they weren't just wrong against her, but also wrong against really the principles that we're trying to get some integrity here. She has a lot to say about 9/11, and a lot of things, of course, also how they tried to derail her, and they got against her. Same story that you have, at least a similar story. You working for a government entity, in this case it's the VA, and then you will tell more. You were trying to say something that at least you were trying to denounce things that were wrong, and you got somehow to pay the consequences. Let's go into the story of your life exactly. You were working for the VA. From what time, when exactly, and where?
Okay. From 2010 to 2012, I was working at the VA as a on the job training through the regional program system they had. They pay you like $500 and something a month, and that's supposed to, as you're going through school, you're learning your trade.
Okay, that's great.
Okay, so I got on.
Are you there?
I got on with the VA in 2012, permanent employee. So 2012, 2014, I worked there. I got on as a baller, as a utility system operator. It's just a fancy name as a baller tech. That's all it is, just a fancy name.
Okay.
So we had to deal with the ballers. We had to monitor the ballers. And you come under federal regulations because when you're dealing with ballers, you're dealing with pressure vessels. And you got to make sure they don't, build up too much steam, or it can become like a, time bomb or something like that.
Yeah, dangerous.
You got to be very careful with them things.
Yeah.
So I liked the job, but me and my supervisor wasn't seeing eye to eye because my whole life, I never been a cliquish type of person that can, hey man, I need you to go, like, if somebody tell me to do something like, hey man, I need you to go hit that person or whatever, I won't do it. Because, why? And I think that's what he was he was expecting for me to do. I'm not talking about like that. I'm talking about he wanted me to basically rat out my other coworkers or whatnot. Stop hanging with certain people. It was almost like it was weird, like he was weird or something. Don't talk to them. Don't talk to that. I'm a grown man.
Yeah,
you ain't gonna tell me who to talk to, who not to talk to.
I mean, in your job description, a boiler technician or whatever it is, it wasn't about how can you or where you can talk to. This is about completely incoming to your private life. And honestly, I can understand. I never really worked for anybody besides probably a few months in my life, and I can see in the job environment, if you get the wrong supervisor, how your life can be completely a nightmare. Because it's not just about the job they had to perform. He also had to keep up with his ego or her ego, and try to satisfy their personality. And if you don't want to go along with that, that's going to be a nightmare. So I can understand a little bit. I even never really worked for anybody, but I understand. Continue, please. This is kind of interesting, by the way. And so what happened exactly from this disagreement, or at least this sort of contrast with your boss there?
Well, okay. So this was building up. I worked in the border plant from 2012 to 2013, like October of 2013, until they put me with another shop unit, a shop group. They switched me to HVAC shop, working underneath the maintenance crew. Mm-hmm. Before I went there, it was like, man, we wasn't seeing eye to eye. I was respectful with him, but he was, how can I say, if he didn't get his way, like, he'd do certain things like slam the door in your face. Mm-hmm. I asked him a question about something dealing with the job itself. Yeah. Do you want me to do this or do you want me to do that? He annoyed me. Then when the problem got worse, then he'd make it seem like I done it.
Now let's go. It was a little pain in the butt. That's the reality, okay? And unfortunately, you're not the only one. I heard a lot of friends that they work for companies or government or even private. Doesn't really matter. But sometimes I tell you, I realize in government even worse, because there is not really much for what I see from outside. Let's say you have somebody that is an ass out there, okay, and he does something wrong to you. It's even more difficult. There is so much bureaucracy, even just to expose him and to make the case and eventually get him fired. When you work for the government, it's a little different than private, but they're everywhere. Let's go to the bottom line, because I tell you what, I think what you're doing and what you've done there was very important. And you were pretty much trying to expose a problem that could have been allegedly compromising the health of many veterans and many other people that they were in that building, even if they weren't veterans, just people working there. Tell exactly what happened.
Okay, well, it didn't exactly go like that. What happened was, the reason why I had to tell that part is it was a build up to it. What happened was, we'd be talking, or he'd be talking to somebody else. He'll say certain things about medical conditions. Mm-hmm. Like, he brought up something what I have, like sleep apnea. And I'm like, I never told him that before. Then by me working now, I come to find out that it's a rumor that management goes in people's medical files and read what read your medical record and also read what you say to your psych therapist, Mm-hmm. So that upset me, and I brought it up in mediation. Why did I do that? I didn't know that once you do that and you accuse your supervisor of knowing something about your medical history, I didn't know that what the VA does, they start circling wagons around you and they start blackballing you. So that's when it begun. That's when I started getting blackballed. Okay, I switched the shops. I went from his shop to the next shop. All right. Before I switched the shops, when I was in the baller room, we lose pressure to the ballers.
Mm-hmm.
And this mainly was on Saturdays, which lets people down. And I'm like, why are we losing pressure to the ballers? Because the ballers need water to run.
Yeah.
I always have to bring out the fire hose and hook up the ballers to keep them running, so we won't lose steam to the building, because you don't want condensation to build up once the heat drops, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, all right. One day I had a guy that came from Alaska. He was there with me, and I was we was basically learning from each other, because I was still learning the technique of working on the ballers. And I decided to go outside. I said, I'll be back, man. Just watch the ball. They said, I got it. I went outside with the other coworker that worked in energy control. And I said, what's this going on? Why are we always losing? I mean, every time, it seems like almost every time I work on a Saturday, we're losing water pressure.
Mm-hmm.
What's going on? What is this problem? He said, man, come see, he said, this the problem. It was like, coming from the city of Houston, I'm not kidding you, a 20-inch line of water coming through the city of Houston, right? Coming from the city of Houston to the VA. They had a valve separating the VA hospital in the city of Houston, and the valve would get clogged up with mud.
Mm-hmm.
With mud. And they had to jingle it loose, and so it could start flowing again. I kid you not, the water was dark brown. It splashed on my shirt. I had to send the shirt to the dry. My shirt was dirty. I'm looking at it. I'm looking at him. I said, man, please tell me they got a main filter for this hospital.
Yeah.
He said, no, it don't. If the ice machines don't have it,
wow.
or, dental don't have it, then, that's if they just getting dirty water. Now, dental do have a filter. The people that clean the tubes, mm-hmm. I forgot the name of that type of trade, but the people that clean the tubes, they have a filter. It's majority of the ice machines have filters. So, okay, let me fast forward. Okay, I'm in the HVAC shop. We're attached to the maintenance shop, to the plumbers and the mechanics, the people that worked on the washing machines and the dishwashers. So we go to clean the ice machines, and we have to change the filters on them too. We have to go to a 2-filter system, because the 1-filter system wouldn't last that long. Even with the 2-filter system, they had so much dirt coming through the hospital. The filters wasn't lasting that long, and we went to a 2-filter system. So we saw calcium built up on the evaporators and everything. We had to constantly clean the ice machines with acid and whatnot to get the calcium build up from the solidified rock that was coming through the water line.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just a pain,
So bottom line, let me interrupt 1 second. So bottom line, you realize without any type of special degree, because all you have to do is use your brain, okay? You work there, you can see the quality of the water coming out. You ask a question: Do we have a filter for this facility? By the way, this facility, the VA, exactly what type of job they were doing there? They're taking care of people with health problems, okay? Is it like an hospital? Am I right?
Yes.
Okay.
Michael E. D. Baker. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was
it's not even just some factory that Of course, still you need to have clean water because somebody wants to drink out of the faucet. I wouldn't suggest anyway, but you don't want to die. But this is a place where really the sick people, the veterans, or whoever is there, need to have good water. So you pointed out, and people say no, we don't, and we don't have the filter. So at that point, everything's okay, back to normal. Did they tell you to shut up, or did you were trying to ask other questions? How did it work out?
No. Okay. Okay. This is how I went. This was as the process of them. I'm sorry, I'm having a feedback on my phone.
Strange. Always happens with people like you and Karen Stewart. I have this problem. Go ahead, continue, please.
Okay. As I'm working now, and they start playing mind games with me, and when I brought up the fact one day that the filter, they don't have a filter for the hospital, it wasn't as if I was trying to I just was talking to another coworker about it. I said, man, they don't have a filter for the main hospital, right?
Yeah.
And I think he took that information and he told on me that I knew about that.
Wow.
So it made it worse for me, and I really became a threat to him.
So the point, you were pretty much the simple guy finding out the $1 million problem. I mean, this is huge for me. I mean, seriously, if I think about it, regardless if it's of course, that part of Texas that the water sucks, or any other part, I expect that especially a medical facility like an hospital should have some basic filtration to guarantee the quality of the water, especially after you point out that the water is brown, like coming out of the sewer. Only God knows what chemicals, or maybe could be bacterial. I mean, who knows? But so you pointed out and decided to realize that you were a pain, you were a problem. Did they try to shut you up? Did they tell you, by the way, just let it go, mind your business? Or did they ignore you? Or what exactly they did to you to make your life a little more miserable?
Okay, it wasn't like nobody came and told me anything to be quiet or anything like that. I ain't received no threats.
Okay, that's good.
But it was just all mind games. It was like I was being followed by the VA police on campus.
Wow.
Managers, my locker. Somebody went in my locker,
Wow.
and took some waters out. Somebody been in my car. I got poison on the job. I had diarrhea for 2 days. I kid you not.
Wow.
And it was like nobody wasn't telling me anything. It was like they was keeping it like basic, or they'll annoy me. Or they'll see me and they'll annoy me, right? So, what I done, I resigned because it was getting worse and worse.
Yeah. I mean, there are different ways. Let's say, for example, like with a girlfriend or with a boyfriend, okay? You can tell him straightforward, hey, by the way, I don't want to be with you, or they're going to make your life miserable, okay? And then finally you go away. That's pretty much what happened to you. So, okay, what happened after you left?
What happened when I left, I left the VA. I'm trying to get my life together. I went down to South America, to Honduras. I went to this camp, with Dr. Sabi. I don't know if you know about Dr. Sabi.
No, never.
But I went down there I went down to cleanse my body.
Okay.
Get the toxins out and whatnot, just to be on a spiritual kick. Okay. Then I came back to the United States. And I had this weird feeling with me that it wasn't over with. Because I started noticing people on the street, looking at me funny. Then I started noticing people following me. I'm like, what's going on here? And people at the apartment complex stopped. It was weird. I go outside at the apartment complex, man, and it's like at a certain time of day, people supposed to be outside. I go outside. I'm the only one outside. Now, I know it don't sound strange, but when you was in my shoes and the people that you hang around, the people, the environment, that would be strange. Mm-hmm. I go outside. I'm talking about for hours at a time. Everybody inside.
So let me explain 1 second, because many of my listeners already know about this. Some people are trying to educate each other, and so what you felt, according to your sensation and opinion, also about according to how you know yourself, that out of the blue you were being followed. Something you didn't somehow notice before you were working before the VA experience, right? This happened after you left the job. Am I right?
Yeah, this happened after I left the job.
So, and for people to say, I want to always play both sides, okay? Because I want to try to be giving both sides the opportunity to say everything is possible. People sometimes, can get a little paranoid. Sometimes myself, I go out. But then there are circumstances. Then there are coincidences. One, two, three. At the fourth time, there is no more a coincidence. Something may happen. But when you start to dig and learn about this, unfortunately, you're not the first one that may have, and I say may because, of course, I'm not there with you, but I think you may have, a situation like that. After I learned about many other people out there right now in America and around the world they are facing the same type of almost social experiment. Let's call it like that, social experiment. They play with us like we are rats, and they try to see how we behave when we put under some stress conditions and also some situation that normally they want to try to freak you out. Specifically, what did you see that was completely out of place that you can say, by the way, this is not a coincidence. They are somehow harassing me or they are somehow stalking me for some reason, maybe intimidating, I don't know. What can you tell us?
This would, I mean, I'm starting to learn how to deal with it now. But when I used to go outside, they have some particular people be outside. Like, soon I open the door, across from me, somebody's coming outside at the same time. You know, at first I didn't. I'm like, wow, okay. Then I saw it every day. We had certain vehicles park a certain way that people normally don't park. It was weird. Then it started playing on my mind and whatnot, and I had my first panic attack, my first nervous breakdown.
Wow.
And, you know, I was basically freaking out, man. I mean, I was freaking out. I'm like, what the heck is going on?
Can I ask you a question, Tareff? A question. Are you a single person or you have like a family behind? Are you, let's say, you live pretty isolated by yourself or you have like a wife, I don't know, family around? I'm just curious.
Well, family around me.
So at least you have family. Because what I notice normally, situations similar to yours, normally they happen, this situation, to people that normally they are alone. They like mostly women, mostly isolated, maybe with no fathers or mothers, maybe with no husband or boyfriends, with not many people around, because they're easier to, let's say, almost attack. Because what you're gonna do? Where you go? It's hard to even to share these things with your family. They may think you're crazy. But then when you really have nobody around close to you, you cannot just talk to the mailman, by the way, about things like that. They're going to really think that you're crazy. You know, so that's the point, you know. That's why I always ask that. Now, question, you know, are you taking any medication for any type of mental problem or any type of psycho situation?
Well, I'm being honest with you, to you and your listeners.
Yes, thank you.
Because what I'm going through, yes, I am. I am.
Okay.
And I didn't want to take it, but what I'm going through, I had to take it.
Okay. I am no doctor, and be sure that everybody out there, especially the FDA kiss asses out there, I'm not giving any medical advice. But between me and you, you know, I had friends that I know that they had some sort of, let's say, different mental problems. And there are many ways, beside the official, let's say, pharmachemical way to fix problems. There are many other ways that I think you can find also help. And of course, sometimes even just to have a friend and to have somebody that understands what you're going through, it is not just in your mind. I think that will relieve, in my opinion, a big part of your fears or maybe of your problem, in my humble opinion. Then, of course, food, diet, but as I said, whatever helps you, I hope that it's gonna, make you feel better. That's all I care. Now, what do you think really? Why they're doing this to you? You have any idea why you think there's some sort of gang stalking you?
Well, okay, it's based off of revenge, because the job I had, I was helped to get on, right? But I didn't know about him, the certain character helping me to get on. I didn't know he wanted me to be his basically brown nose, right? Because be honest with you, I was grateful, I was appreciative, I was thankful. But just because you got, somebody help you just to knock you down, that's not a good friend, And to me, I think that's.
Don't you think it's something more than that? Because after all, yes, you could have been a pain in the butt for the VA. By the way, I read your email. You were trying to contact also the EPA regarding this violation of the VA not having the filter and the quality of water, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yes, I talked to them. They had contacted me back, and one of the representatives for the EPA, it was almost like she had me, like she was a DA. Like she was a DA, defense attorney or something for the state of Louisiana. The way she was talking to me, as if I was on trial.
Wow. So you were the
I
problem
mean,
almost. You were almost,
huh?
instead of being somebody that say, thank you for your help to give us the tip and this information, you were almost the accused. They make you feel like that, like you were almost the person that you were under trial.
Exactly. As like she was talking to me as if, why are you contacting us? Why you didn't contact Texas EPA? Why didn't contact the city of Houston? Oh, did you do this? Did you do that? I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. I'm contacting you to let you know about this. Ain't that your job?
Yeah, I mean,
Well,
regardless.
take down this number and call these numbers right here.
Yeah. So they never did they never follow up on your situation? Did they never really say, okay, let's go through, regardless the chain of command? Because yes, there is the city, there is different things before you go to the federal government. But sometimes you go to the federal government because maybe you're afraid to go to the city. Doesn't matter. They're supposed to be all working independently. No matter they should do their job, regardless if the city of Houston or not is doing or not. I mean, that's their job too.
Mm-hmm.
So how it ended up? Nothing, or there was some sort of follow up from them?
There was what they done was it was the EPA. I think she called. Who I found out from someone who I spoke to. It was one of the agencies I spoke to. I can't think offhand. They said, the problem was handled. It was a bust in a water pipeline. And that's how the dirt was getting into the line. Now, mind you, sir, when I told somebody in Houston that I knew that was, trying his best to look out for me, he told me that been going on.
Wow.
So I got on at 2012 to 2014.
Mm-hmm.
And just by coincidence, I was thrown into something. To be honest with you, I'm being honest with you. I didn't want no part off because I'm being honest with you and your listeners. Because you hear stories about people getting whacked by the government or you hear stories about people floating in the river somewhere. I'm being honest with you, sir. I was afraid. And I had my mouth closed.
I understand.
I'm serious. When I left, I had my mouth closed. I'm saying maybe this is going to die down. It didn't die down.
Yeah.
Okay? Or I'm taking it back. It did die down. 2015, March of 2015, it died down and went away.
Wow.
Come to find out, they were spreading rumors about me as if I was an ungrateful employee. Mm-hmm. Like I told on them about them helping me getting my job, which I never done. I won't do I'm not a cutthroat. I didn't do that. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Now, when I was working at the VA, I was fighting fire with fire, and I stooped down to their level. And I should have never used what I had against them. Because once you stoop down to their level, what they do is they use it against you to make you seem like you're a creep.
No, I understand. Right? I understand. At least, you try what you could. And I tell you, I wish more people like you, they were trying to speak, at least because I really feel sorry for these people right now working or being patients at the VA. They have no idea what they're drinking. And they may really get sick for other things besides for what they came for. Now, just to change 1 second topic, you told me that during Katrina, you were there, right?
Oh, yeah, I was in Katrina.
You were in Katrina. So that's kind of interesting.
Yes,
because, that's like what I really believe from outside. I wasn't there. I was just watching this on the news. Was there was what you call martial law, suspension of rights. Do you remember when these different type of agencies from police, from National Guard were coming to people's door, people anyway, they were minding their business in their homes, and they were coming to confiscate guns. Are you aware, or you were aware of that when it was happening?
Okay, yes, they was confiscating guns, but in the area where I was at, we was flooded, so the police couldn't really do too much.
Yeah.
But I heard stories where people was on dry land, because you had some parts of the city wasn't affected by the water, and I heard stories their guns was being confiscated.
Yeah.
Because the police can, easily get to you, Whereas because we was on water, and I had a gun. I'm gonna be honest with you. If we didn't have a pistol on us, the boat, the food we had, the little water, the little Gatorade we had would have been, somebody would have took it from us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm serious.
I mean, the point is, if you have not the right to defend yourself as a free human being, or you're going to get killed, or somebody's going to get your stuff. I mean, that's the reality, right? I mean,
exactly.
You don't sleep with a cop 24/7, correct? And even if there was the case, I don't want that, okay? I mean, that's my point. So, I mean, I don't know anything about you. We know each other. So my question is, first of all, as a human being, as an American, do you believe that you have the right, as a natural right, also expressed and announced it in the Second Amendment, the right to keep and bear arms for a law-abiding person? You believe that you have the right, or is a government a privilege? What do you think?
I believe, as a United States citizen, I believe in the Constitution. From the first, second, third, all the way to the last part of it. I believe in it, Now, I got to say this, because of my targeting, I got to be careful how I say things or whatnot, because they try to, pick certain words out and make it seem like I'm an extremist, or I'm a so-called revolutionary, or I'm a so-called sellout, I'm a so-called deviant. They do these things to you. So I got to be very careful what I say. Now, I believe in the Constitution 100%, because without it, we'll be slaves.
Exactly.
Without it.
Exactly. And also another thing, you know that the first gun control, I wasn't born here, I came from Italy, but I tried to learn history as soon as I could, especially when I was becoming an American, naturalized American. The first real gun control laws in this country were exactly after the Civil War, because the idea was that black people, they're supposed not to have the right of self-defense. So the first, that's a very sad true reality. Gun control, like the marriage license, we didn't have really the government giving us the license to marry each other. It was about the churches, with the churches. Same story with the gun control. The first gun control laws, they were racials. They didn't want to have black people armed, because so they could not defend themselves. That's the situation. I mean, you know the story probably better than me. When there was the time that in some little town or some places that the KKK was coming around, I mean, the only thing was between that or life, or burning the home, or being alive for the winter to have the home intact, was the father or the community of black people to be able to have a weapon. But when there is a law that says we must give you a license before you have that weapon, here we go. Like the same situation with a marriage. I find disturbing the idea that the government must give me a license if I want to spend the rest of my life with somebody or not. I mean, that's not the government job, but people must understand that this stuff, it didn't happen before the end of the Civil War. After that, they wanted to be sure that the interracial marriage, they weren't going to happen. And then, of course, finally things changed. But that's my point. Gun control is racist, or at least started as a racist thing. That's the thing. And I'm glad that you can tell us also your first eye experience, in Katrina. Exactly, if you didn't have a chance to have somebody with a weapon, how things could have been different. Now, we come from 8 years of Bush to 8 years of Obama. You as a black American, what do you think? Did Obama improve relationships between, let's say, white and black or whatever, or things are worse? What is your opinion?
Okay, my opinion is this, that him as a president, he only can do so much. And Bush, he only can do so much because the power, from what I understand, the so-called people behind them is actually pulling the string. I used to prick my finger at Bush and also President Obama a lot until I realized that they really don't make privacy. It's the people that's underneath them, the other people in the State Department, people like Lockheed Martin.
The part is true. You're right. I mean, they're puppets. The reality is this: presidents, they're just a face. They are not the real masters behind. But still, let's spell it out. If you work for the devil, I mean, they're doing evil things, in my opinion, both of them. Okay, and this is me talking. Of course, I don't want to put you in trouble. This is me speaking. If
Yeah.
no matter if you're just a little puppet, you're still accessory to murder. Because I give you an example. For let's say Bush, when was there, he passed the the Patriot Act 1 and 2, complete destruction of our Bill of Rights, the War and Military Commission Act. I mean, we're talking about serious stuff, okay? Now, after Bush, we were pretty much no more posse comitatus was gone. They can military can be used on U.S. soil for any type of police situation. Then we have Obama, that he was denouncing so much Bush with the Patriot Act, not only renew it every time, but then also added up the National Defense Authorization Act of 2012, with specifically the clause of indefinite detention and no due process. That means every one of us, me and you, anybody, we can be declare just because of suspected, and this is very important, no due process, to be terrorist and be put in a cage, not even a jail, in some sort of a dungeon, and be indefinitely detained without access to lawyer, jury, or any type of basic due process. This is not America. We go back now before pre-Magna Carta, before 1215. We go back into the dark ages. And Obama, even if he was just a puppet, he signed that. So for me, yes, there are just so much they can do, thank God, but the point is they are doing it. And I'm not here to try to bash all Obama. I bash Bush and Obama and everything in between, because they're all working for the same masters. That's the reality. Now, what I'm concerned is, for example, I mean, we're going to be facing also economic reality that we are bleeding to death. I mean, this is a fact. It's not even about partisanship. When Bush left office, we were in a dire straight situation with, I don't know how many, 8 billions, whatever it was. Now we got 20 trillions, and keep growing. And just this week, Obama signed 38 billions aid, military aid to Israel. I mean, what the heck are we thinking now? I would like to ask to anybody who voted for Obama, if that's something that beyond politics is something that is acceptable, to steal our tax dollar and to give it to another country. And on top, it's not even our money. This is our China's money. We had to go in debt with China or with the Federal Reserve that is private and rack our credit card to give it to another country. What do you think about that as for Obama doing that to us, to our future generation? 38 billions to a foreign country like Israel for money that we don't have. Maybe we could have used this money in Katrina. Maybe we could have used money to build in schools or whatever. What do you think?
Well, what I think is this, that we need to, I'm sorry, I'm getting feedback again.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. So what I think is this, is I don't know the ins and outs between geopolitics, even though I'm learning it step by step.
Okay, forget about Tareff. You're a smart guy, okay? I didn't go to school. I don't know if we don't need to go to political school. We don't need to become ambassador or some sort of economist. This is about 2 plus 2 regular logic, okay?
Okay.
We are in debt. We are broke. We have $20 trillion in the hole without counting Social Security and Medicare and all the other liability is going to be impossible to pay. But let's put it just $20 trillion in debt. Now, where in the Constitution is written that we must be forced to pay $38 billion to another country on money that we don't have, while we have our own people, black, white, yellow. I don't care anymore about race. We all broke here, okay? This is not about anymore. Yes, there are white people, they are starving. There are black people, they are starving. People that lost their homes, people that lost everything. And we are living like in a third world here. But we have $38 billion to go to another country. Normally, we don't even have this money. We have to go in debt with China to give them to another country. We don't need to be geniuses. This is wrong. This is a crime. This is treason. I mean, I'm sure that many people in your neighborhood, or maybe in your part of the world, that they're still probably recovering from Katrina. They say, wait a second, before you give $38 billion to Israel, maybe give us a better place to live. Maybe give us a better school. Maybe give us a bit better bridges. Don't you think that's something normal to think?
Yeah, I agree with you. The money in the budget should go to the American infrastructure, to build up the roads, the trains, to build new nuclear power plant, to create new jobs, new water aquifers, which Arizona and New Mexico and Southern California need, because I got dry desert they can dig for try to drill for water or take it from Alaska and run a pipeline from when the frost defrost, and you can got it to the point where it comes all the way down to Utah and Nevada, to Arizona and New Mexico and West Texas.
Anyway,
and you can irrigate the whole land.
You got my point, Tareff. You got my point,
They're
Tareff.
not doing that.
And
So what we're doing is,
and this is
what we're doing
wrong.
is
This is wrong.
we're giving money to other countries.
Yeah.
Instead of just focusing on ourselves and building up our infrastructure, because right now what they're saying, the unemployment rate is anywhere from 24 to 30%, but what the government is saying that it's 4.9% or 5% of the population not working, but it's close to 1/3 of the population not working.
Yeah,
I see it every day. I'm not working. I mean, I see other people, grown men, walking the street.
You know what they're
Black
doing?
youth.
They're bleeding us to death by design. This is not an accident. This is not just incompetency. They want to destroy the system, to collapse the system, and to push the reset button. We are very close, by the way. I mean, all these things are happening. $38 billion to Israel, and then another, I don't know, many millions of dollars or billions of dollars to Iran. Did you hear about, this cash payment to Iran? I mean, that's insane. And that's only what we can see. And then the money to Egypt. And then, of course, Obama spending whatever, I don't know, $40 million for vacations or more, I don't know. I mean, that's another way to bleed this country to death. Destroy it. And at that point, you know what's happening. We will go really through a time that we never faced as a nation. And Katrina was going to be some sort of a dry run, okay? That's what they're going to do. Mm-hmm. And then they will come and they will say, hey, we are here to rescue you. We are here to protect you. Meanwhile, you go there and start to become a good slave, and we put you in the FEMA camps. And, of course, you have no rights because we are under national emergency. That's the situation. So that's what I'm saying. This is happening not by stupidity, not by incompetency. This is happening because they are criminal behind. And as you said before, Bush, Obama, they're just the puppets. Behind, there are stronger and bigger forces that they're controlling, not just this country, but also the world. I want to give you the floor. You got 2 minutes, whatever you want to say. I want to say, first of all, thank you for being here and sharing your opinions and also your facts about what happened to you, and hopefully to inspire other people. Because every one of us, as I said at the beginning of the show, has the duty. When you see evil, you cannot just stay silent. Otherwise, we are becoming part of evil. Tareff, whatever you want to say, you close. Go ahead.
All right, thank you. To your listeners, if you're in your community and you're hearing rumors about certain people in your neighborhood doing certain things, and not to speak to them, it's best to go to them and hear their side of the story. And also that we need more whistleblowers to come out to stop what's going on, because they're using the American public against the American public. They're turning people against each other. So if a collapse do happen, you won't be looking at them. You'll be looking at each other for the little scraps left on the table. And I think it's by design. I think it's a dialectic principle they're doing with the chaos the control out of chaos theory, where they create a problem, they get you to react to it, then they come up with a solution.
Exactly.
And that's what they're doing. And they're playing all of us. They got so much information on the internet, it's good. They got so much disinformation on the internet. You have a war going on between the elite, and you got a war going on between the elite and the middle class and the poor people. They're using the poor people against the middle class and the middle class against the poor people. But you're not going to see the elite fighting each other. I mean, they fight each other, but not on a large scale like they're doing with us. They're experimenting on us and doing these different things. I mean, I watch different programs. I listen to different people. And, I mean, I'm starting to think maybe a war might be around the corner. A collapse is maybe within the next year or two. Yeah. Maybe the collapse already happened.
Exactly.
And we're just being lied to,
Tareff,
so things are getting worse and worse.
Tareff, it's none of my business, and you don't have to answer, but I like to ask. I'm just curious, I am, as I said before, I don't believe in any parties. The same time, of course, we're coming to election time. Who are you going to vote for these elections?
Well, I'm be honest with you. I was a Bernie Sanders supporter.
Okay. And how do you feel?
I
How do you feel now completely when it's been exposed that there was all a farce, all a little trick for little babies because they treat you like a little kids to give you the illusion that your vote really was counting something. How do you feel now? Are you gonna vote for Hillary after you found out that it was just a scam? All that process.
Well, I was thinking about voting, and I'm thinking about not voting because I don't think I might not vote on that day, sir. I'm being honest with you.
Okay, that's
Because
good. That's
when
good.
I'm seeing all
Listen,
these things going on.
it's your choice. It's your choice. It's your freedom. I believe that. My only point is this way, and I'm not Democrat. I have probably different socioeconomics from you, but still, I have a lot of friends, that at least people that I know, and I tell them, guys, how can you go now back into your party when you know that your party, at least the top levels of your party, is being cheating on you? It's been completely doing everything the opposite of what we're supposed to have. I mean, your vote didn't count anything. Since the beginning, it was a show. And Bernie Sanders sold you out too. That's the reality. And I'm not saying that the guy is bad, okay? Maybe he's crazy on his own way. But for sure, I tell you something. To vote for a woman that I don't even know if it's a woman. My opinion, she's a devil, okay? That after all the things we know with Benghazi and the emails and the servers and the laws that she broke. I mean, if you were in service, as a military man, you were doing not even one thing that she did. You would spend 50 years in military prison, for God's sake. You know that. And you never had a chance, even when you had a chance. All your votes, they were counting zero because the game was already set. They already knew she was the one. This is not about to be anymore a republic. Your vote's supposed to be part of the process. Guess what? It is not anymore. They give you the illusion to vote to pacify you. So, that's the idea. Because if they tell you that you are a slave, we are slaves, we're going to get mad. We're going to maybe even revolt. But if they tell us that we have a chance every 4 years to decide and we are somehow free, we may believe that stuff. But the reality is that this is just an illusion. This is just my humble opinion, of course. Listen, Tareff, I thank you very much from my heart. Please be in touch if you have any other news and update. And please, guys, don't go away. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with Luca Zanna on K-Talks 1340 AM. Ready for our number 2. Do not go away. Ciao.
Give me liberty or give me death. I stand against tyranny. My soul will never rest. Give me liberty or give me death. I trade my life for freedom with no regret. It is natural to man to indulge in the illusions of hope. We are apt to shut our eyes against a painful truth and listen to the song of that siren till she transforms us into